I got them. I got stats and rosters.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Joliet Memorial Stadium for tonight's Chicagoland Collegiate Athletic Conference matchup between the Titans of Indiana University South Bend and your Fighting Saints. At this time, let's introduce tonight's starting lineups. First of all, for the visiting Titans of Indiana South Bend. In goal, number 1, Caitlin Paul. Number 7, Marissa Million. Number 9, Rebecca Guess. Number 10, Gracie Cavanaugh. Number 11, Alyssa Macias. Number 13, Priscilla Ramirez. Number 17, America Esparza. Number 18, Avery Carver. Number 19, Rachel Villa. Number 20, Mo Villa. And number 23, Mackenzie Blankenbaker. The Titans are coached by Bobby Barnes. And now the starting lineup for your Fighting Saints. In goal tonight, number 0, Yadira Estrada. Number 5, Emily Galvin. Number 10, Alexis American. Number 12, Claudia Hernandez. Number 15, Lindsay Mendez. Number 16, Allison Shar. Number 19, Lindsay Corona. Number 20, Natalie Salgado. Number 21, Lauren Pikolsky. Number 27, Grace Giallo. And number 32, Kelly Pietrowski. Fighting Saints are coached by Mr. Al Pilar. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise. Gentlemen, kindly remove your caps as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Good evening and welcome to Joliet Memorial Stadium, located appropriately enough in Joliet, Illinois, as we get set for the opener of the CCAC soccer season for the Women's Fighting Saints of St. Francis. A 3-0 St. Francis squad coming into their conference opener. Terry Bonadonna with you today for St. Francis against Indiana University South Bend, and two teams that have so far this year gone in opposite directions. We'll see if the trend continues today, with St. Francis getting the opening kick and sending it off down the field right to left on your screen for the first half of play today. The Fighting Saints are in white. The Titans of South Bend are in black. They're going to be going from left to right for the entirety of the first half of today's game. And that means that they are shooting into the south goal. The Saints, of course, firing into the north goal. St. Francis comes in at 3-0. Indiana South Bend is 0-4. So the Saints, one would think, would have an opportunity today to pick up some early points in the conference season. They've got to play their game, though, against South Bend, who has struggled so far. They have not scored a goal since their season opener back on August 28th. Last three games, they were shut out. Saints know a thing or two about shutouts. They've been on the other end of them so far this season. They have not allowed a goal in 3+ games. They make their move offensively down the field now, again from right to left. Allison Shar sends it into the middle field, deflected back towards the far sideline, and the Fighting Saints back it up near midfield. St. Francis has held possession for the majority of the game so far, but just as I say that, it's taken away by Mo Villa of Indiana South Bend. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for today's game. Visiting Indiana South Bend lines up with Marissa Million, as that ball is sent into the box and scooped up by the goalkeeper, Caitlin Paul. Marissa Million, Rebecca Guess, Gracie Kavanaugh, Alyssa Macias, Priscilla Ramirez, America Esparza, Avery Carber, Rachel Villa, Mo Villa, and Mackenzie Blankenbaker are the starting 10 for Indiana South Bend today, with their goalkeeper, Caitlin Paul. I'll give you the numbers on Paul in just a moment. Here come the Fighting Saints. This is Litzy Mendez making her way along the near sideline. Mendez passes off to Alexis Mariquin. Her cross in front of the net. Deflected right back to Mariquin, trying to line up a shot, and her ball is deflected towards the sideline. Controlled, at least in the short term, by Gracie Kavanaugh of Indiana South Bend. She ends up losing that ball out of bounds, but along the sideline. Not a bad play by Kavanaugh, setting up the St. Francis throw-in. Claudia Hernandez sets things forward for the Fighting Saints. Back to Grace Giallo from the defensive line. Giallo passes off to Natalie Salgado. Here's Mendez turning towards the middle once again. Passed into the center for Shar. Shar can't get anything off, and it's cleared for the moment by the Titans. Can they get it out of their defensive zone? They can on a foul called against St. Francis. Litzy Mendez lowered her shoulder, and so that foul allows the Titans a free kick that'll get it out of the trouble spot. For St. Francis, Emily Galvin starts with Alexis Mariquin, Claudia Hernandez, Litzy Mendez, Allison Shar, Litzy Corona, Natalie Salgado, Lauren Pokalski, Grace Giallo, and Kelly Piotrowski. This is Shar passing it to the far side, and Emily Galvin. Galvin, the defender, who steps up along the far sideline, taps it ahead. Here comes Mendez all the way down into the corner, looking for some help over the middle. There's the cross, and intercepted right back to the Fighting Saints. Set up top to Mendez. Mendez turns, feigns the shot, passes it off. There is a shot, and it misses high and out of bounds. That shot taken by Litzy Corona off the pass from Litzy Mendez, but it ends up sailing out for a goal kick just about 3.5 minutes into this game. The goalkeepers for today for Indiana South Bend, Caitlin Paul, starting for the 5th time this year. She's played all but 31 minutes so far this season. Paul has averaged to allow 6.29 goals per contest. She has made 37 saves, and she has a .617 save percentage. Here come the Fighting Saints once again off the throw-in. Shar passes off to her right. There's another shot from Corona, and this one just a little bit high. So Litzy Corona has had a couple of opportunities from in close, just inside the box. First one she missed well high. This one just barely high, as it grazes over the crossbar and out of bounds for another Indiana South Bend goal kick. That was Caitlin Paul, who sent that ball away off towards the sideline. It bounces out. St. Francis's goalkeeper is Yadira Estrada. Estrada has played all but one half of the season so far for St. Francis. That includes the interrupted game back in August. It would have been the season opener had it been played through to completion. Here's a deflection by St. Francis off along the far sideline towards the sideline and knocked out of bounds this time by the team in white. Estrada obviously has been very good this year. The ball is sent into the box on a couple of bounces. Estrada waits back on it. Now off a tap from a defender, she's able to scoop it up. And she'll get a chance to clear it here. She rolls it to the near sideline. Out of bounds. Throw in for Indiana South Bend. Priscilla Ramirez does the honors. We're still very early, just over 5 minutes in, but already this has seemed like a very rare sight to turn our heads to the right and check out this side of the field. St. Francis has dominated possession time early on. And St. Francis has possession right now going along the sideline. A ball ahead to Corona. Corona works her way into the box. Corona from the outside, looking across it, finds Mendez there. Mendez lets it go through. There's a shot from long range and saved off the ground by Caitlin Paul. Claudia Hernandez couldn't get a lot on that one. She had a pretty free path towards the net. But Hernandez's shot didn't get off the ground, didn't get a lot of velocity on it. And Paul fell on top of it relatively easily. Saints get the ball back. It's Mendez to the corner of the box. Mendez works her way down to the corner of the field. Now passes in front of the net, cleared by the Titans. And out of bounds for a throw-in. Give you the rest of the numbers on Yadira Estrada. The Saints have not allowed a goal yet this year, so obviously their goalkeeper's numbers are pretty good. She's got a 1,000 save percentage naturally. She's made just 6 saves this year. That's how good the defense has been thus far. And of course, her record is unbeaten. Saints are 3-0. They've also gotten 45 strong minutes in net from Ellie Provo this year. But Estrada's had the lion's share of playing time. Here's Hernandez. Hernandez looks to her right, works her way back, and resets things back in the general direction of midfield. There's a ball sent to the edge of the box. One bounce in front of Mendez. Mendez takes a dribble to her right, knocked off of her foot, coming in on the back end. Shar's shot is deflected, and Caitlin Paul picks it up off that deflection. We remain scoreless. Nearly 8 minutes into this thing. A lot of opportunities early on for the Fighting Saints, though they haven't had too many good-looking shots so far, save for the one that just barely cleared the crossbar from Claudia Hernandez. Or rather, that shot was from Litzy Corona. So the Saints are knocking at the door. See if the Titans let them in going forward here as Mara Quinn fails to control the ball at midfield. She takes it right back off the foot of Gracie Kavanaugh, though, and the Saints are on the move. Here's Hernandez. Hernandez rolls it into the middle. Turning upfield, a long-range shot from Corona off the left foot, but it sails wide to the right of the net. And out of bounds for another goal kick. So on one side, you have a goalkeeper who has made 6 saves this season. On the other side, you have a goalkeeper who's made 37 saves. In just one game's difference, you would think the one with 37 saves would probably be a lot better than the one with 6. But the reason there have been so few for Estrada is because of the stop defense. Indiana South Bend has not been able to boast the same. Titans give up 17 goals last time out. That was, of course, in a 17-0 loss against St. Ambrose. That game was played over the weekend on Saturday. That was the conference opener for Indiana University South Bend. This is the conference opener for St. Francis. And they are scoreless after 9 minutes. Here comes Litzy Mendez. Mendez to her right, can't quite hook up with Schar. Schaar. A little bit behind that ball. The Saints get it back across midfield. Grace Giallo is the near side defender. Ahead for Hernandez. Hernandez trying to split 2 defenders, and instead she loses the ball. It's kicked towards midfield, and out of bounds just across that line. St. Francis gets the throw. Giallo tosses it right back into Natalie Salgado. Here's Mendez. Rolled ahead to Schar. Shar, one dribble back, now passes to her far side, off on the right. Down to the corner with the dribbling. There's a shot and a deflection. Not necessarily a shot there, but a cross deflected out of bounds. And we got a corner kick coming up here for St. Francis. Maybe this is the way to get into the net. They play it short off the corner. Rolled back out to the edge of the box. Now a cross in front of the net and picked up on one hop by the goalkeeper. So the corner kick was not just what the Saints needed to get off the schneid. They remain in control of this first half despite having not scored yet. Good two-man game here. Mariquin tracks it down to the corner. There's the cross, deflected in front of the net, and falling on top of that ball. Caitlin Paul makes another good stop. No score, still pretty early in this one. St. Francis has had far and away the better chances. South Bend trying to control possession right now, though. Coming along the near sideline, it is knocked off the foot of Marissa Million. Correction, that was Rebecca Guess. I guessed wrong. I guessed it was Million. Here's Guess, knocked off of her foot by Shar. Nice play by Shar as Million tried to turn it towards the middle of the field. Mendez and Hernandez making their ways down. Here's Litzy Mendez cutting to the outside. Mendez, the Saints' leading goal scorer and leading point scorer so far this year, rolls into the middle field. Hernandez is tackled, and we play on. No foul called on Million on that slide tackle. Indiana South Bend continues possession, taken away by Natalie Salgado. Here comes Salgado wearing the captain's armband on the left side. Salgado dribbles to her left, passes in that direction, short. Shot from Alexis Mariquin deflected. Saints get it right back. In front of the box, one hop. Paul gets there before Litzy Corona does. It's a beautiful night here in Joliet. Perfect evening for soccer. Not too hot, not too cold. Good breeze, although that breeze may have an impact on this game. It was blowing pretty briskly before from left to right. Looks like it still is. Get down towards the box, sent in front to Mariquin. A diving save made by Paul. Nice save by Caitlin Paul there. It looked like the Saints had finally figured out a way to beat her. Good cross. Good looking finish, but it didn't finish, so good looking attempt, I guess, to finish. Fighting Saints in control once again across midfield. It's Mariquin. Here comes Hernandez. Pulls it to the middle of the field. Mendez sets it up going forward. Hernandez again. Off to her right. Shar. Shar takes a few dribbles off to her right side. The ball taken away from her. Sent in back in front of the net. And the Saints take it away now in good goal scoring position. There's a shot and another diving save made by Caitlin Paul. Paul came into play today with 37 saves in 4 games played this year. So she's averaging around 9 saves a game, and she has gotten her money's worth so far today. Little back and forth action in the backfield of Indiana South Bend. Now sent towards the sideline, and they let it go out. Titans chased that ball for a little bit, but they've got some subs ready to come in, and so they just let it happen, knowing that they would get these substitutes in now. That's Guadalupe Parra getting set to check in for the Titans. Pushed ahead. Mariquin's got a chance. Mariquin up against the goalie. There's a shot, and it's wide. Sent that one in front of the net, and it drifts out of bounds. Mariquin had no defenders out in front of her. She did have a teammate streaking down the middle of the field. It looked like she was trying to set her up rather than take the shot. It really could have gone either way with it, but it didn't work in any case. Kind of right in between what she was trying to do. But St. Francis has kept the pressure on so far. No threats yet from Indiana South Bend. Fighting Saints have maintained control. They've got control of it right now. Tapped to the right side. Now down along the sideline. There's a ball sent in out of bounds. Throw in for Indiana South Bend. Intercepted on a bounce by the Saints. Back across midfield, tracked down by the Fighting Saints defensively. There's Kelly Piotrowski off to her left. Priscilla Ramirez trying to control it for the Titans. Ramirez loses it, looking for Mo Villa. And it's taken away by Allison Shar. At midfield, the Fighting Saints taking their time here, playing a lot of short passes. Pushed ahead down the middle. Nice touch by Shar, working way through. There's a good ball into the box. A shot and a great save by Paul. The ball is deflected out. No rebound, though, as the Titans are able to knock it out of the box. Now sent in once again, taken away by the Titans defense. And here comes Alexis Mariquin. Back to Claudia Hernandez. Hernandez takes a shot from long range, and that one is just wide to the left. Nearly deflected by Caitlin Paul. She didn't need to get to it in the end. And what a great sequence right there by the Indiana University South Bend Titans. Seemed like the Saints should have scored at least twice on that possession. But a great save by Caitlin Paul on the first shot. And on the second one, not a great look from the outside. Here's Giallo tapping it ahead and cleared. Over the head of Piotrowski. She chases it down anyway. Taps it back into the box and lets Yadira Estrada track it down. Estrada does not pick it up. Instead, she works quickly in one motion, rolling it to her right side. Giallo across midfield to Hernandez. Hernandez rolls it back into the middle. It was Allison Shar giving it back to the defense. Now the Saints have it. Middle of the field, chipped into the box, off the foot of Salgado. And Salgado tried to chase it down. She was offsides anyway, though. So with 27 minutes to play in the first half, we have no score. Kind of surprisingly, it's taken a great effort from Caitlin Paul to keep it scoreless. Yadira Estrada over on the other end has not had to work very hard. Not a lot going on in that direction. Titans try to change that right here. They get the free kick off the offsides call. And into the defensive line of St. Francis. Piotrowski finds Giallo. Rolls it off to the right. Emily Galvin. Tapped ahead, deflected, and back to Galvin. Here's Piotrowski. To the midfield stripe. And turning it upfield, it's Hernandez. Hernandez with the defense closing in. Taps it to her right, trying to get it right back to her. Mendez overshot her. And knocked away by Guadalupe Parra. At midfield, it's the Saints once again. Giallo. Hernandez. One touch and lost right there by Natalie Salgado. There's a whistle. Well, the call goes against St. Francis. Free kick coming up for Indiana South Bend. Today is game number 2 of the home season for St. Francis. Technically, they did play almost half of another one before lightning caused that to be wiped out a couple weeks ago. So officially, this is just their second home game after they played and beat a different St. Francis of Indiana, last Tuesday, 1 week ago today. Saints have won their games so far this year 9-0, 1-0, and 1-0. They were tied at 0 in the suspended game back in August that took one off of their schedule. They will not make that up. There's a clearance by IUSB. Shar trying to keep the possession alive for the Saints, and she does. There's a dribble back towards the middle and tackled away. Good defense by the Titans. And the Saints tackle it right back, but this time we've got a whistle. Indiana South Bend came into today with an 0-4 mark. They lost 5-2 in their opener. That was a home match against Great Lakes Christian. And then 6-0, the loss in their second match. 2-0 at those same Indiana St. Franciscans. About 10 days ago, after I mentioned last week, this St. Francis beat that other St. Francis. And then most recently, they did get conference play started on Saturday. That was a tough 17-0 loss as Yadira Estrada steps in, picks up that loose ball, and rolls it off to her right. Long run down along the sideline. Sent ahead and knocked away out of bounds by the Titans. Knocked it off of St. Francis. It'll be an IUSB throw-in. So far, 13 shots for St. Francis to 0 for Indiana South Bend. Saints may be setting up a 14th shot right now, although the run is halted. Good defense by the Titans. Play continues along the far sideline, spinning back towards the middle. There's a ball sent in front of the net and too far out in front of Natalie Salgado. They'll have to kick it again here. A free kick, goal kick from the goalkeeper. Caitlin Paul up along the sideline. Intercepted there by Grace Giallo. And the Saints are on the move again. Hernandez ahead for Shar. Shar taps it back to Litzy Mendez. Mendez been the big catalyst for St. Francis so far this year. There's a turn into the box. A shot off the hands of Paul, and it rolls out of bounds. Looked initially like it might go in, but Paul was there to make the stop. Then it looked like she was going to make the catch on the fly. She didn't. It went through her hands, and Indiana South Bend caught a big break that she deflected that one enough so that it didn't go through her hands and into the net. Went through her hands and out the back line. So still no score with just over 22 minutes to play. There's the free kick, sent back post, headed into the air and out of bounds. Saints aren't able to make their corner kick work. We're more than halfway through this first period and still no score. IUSB has held their own after giving up 17 goals their last time out. As long as you can keep it close like this, you're liable to make a run. Here's St. Francis trying to not keep it so close. Hernandez out to Mariquin. Mariquin takes the left-footed shot and puts it in over the outstretched arms of Caitlin Paul. It's a goal for St. Francis, and finally, after nearly 24 minutes, they do take a 1-0 lead. Alexis Mariquin scores her team-leading third goal of the year. In the 24th minute of play in this first game of CCAC season, the Fighting Saints have a 1-goal lead. Here's Giallo on the back line, pressured by Million. Marissa Million can't reach her as it's rolled off towards the right. Now here come the Saints again. It's Shar setting up a 3-on-3 chance. There's a good ball into the box. Another chance for the Fighting Saints. A shot and another goal. This one comes less than 30 seconds after the first one. Saints lead 2-0. This time, I believe that was Litzy Corona who put it in. And if that is correct, that is the third goal of the season for her. So now 2 Fighting Saints are tied at the top of the team with 3 goals apiece. 13 for the Fighting Saints overall this year. It's 13 in just now 4 games played. Bounces down the sideline for Giallo to pick it up. And across midfield, it's the Saints once again on attack. Mariquin scored a goal just moments ago. Ahead for Salgado in the corner. Salgado's cross gets too far in. Now Mendez takes a shot. It's wide to the right. 2-0 St. Francis. Just under 20 minutes to go. Alexis Mariquin and Litzy Corona have scored back-to-back goals. They did it in the span of 30 seconds. Saints will try it again here. Salgado down in the corner. Salgado's cross in front of the net, tipped once in front of Caitlin Paul. Paul tries to dive on top of it. It trickles through her hands, and it is cleared out of bounds by the South Bend defense. Good defense there by the Titans, preventing what would have been a 3-0 St. Francis lead. There's a cross to the back post, a little bit too far. Saints reset. Here's Giallo. To the outside, the Fighting Saints reset. Now making their way forward. Here's Hernandez. Hernandez, nice ball work to get around a defender. Into the box. There's a shot and another goal. This time it's Allison Shar, and the Saints are pulling away 3-0. They lead with 18.5 minutes to play. We're still in the first half here at Joliet Memorial Stadium, but all of a sudden the spigot has opened and the goals are all freed up. They are flying loose here. 3 of them in the last 3 minutes. After the Saints kept knocking at the door, knocking at the door, knocking at the door, but remaining tied. Finally, they have taken a decisive lead, and the lead is at this point a little more indicative of the way the season has gone for these 2 teams so far. IUSB still has not scored today, which means St. Francis still has not allowed a goal this year. St. Francis still in possession. They would like to extend their already substantial lead. Salgado nearly intercepted. Hernandez into Shar. Shar turns it, working against Million. Shar takes another shot. Diving stop by Paul. That one was not on target anyway. That would have gone wide and hit the side of the net, it appeared, if it had gotten by the goalkeeper, but it didn't. She makes a nice play on it, and that allows her to free up to punt. She bounces it across midfield. A good punt. And the Saints simply let it go. Back into the hands of Yadira Estrada, who's been good all year, but has not had to work too much today. She has not made a save, nor has Indiana South Bend even taking a shot, let alone a shot on goal. They're being outshot 21-0. Shots on goal 11-0. That means already 9 saves have been made by Caitlin Paul, the starting goalkeeper for Indiana South Bend. Here come the Saints down to the corner. Corner kick after that ball was knocked out of bounds. A corner kick for the Fighting Saints. 16-16 and counting on the clock. There's the kick, front post and right into the hands of the goalkeeper, Paul. So the Saints have to settle for their 3-goal lead right now. It's been a while since they've scored. They've gone almost 3 whole minutes. They never went that far before in this game. At least it didn't seem like it. After they started scoring, they couldn't stop. 3 goals scored in the span of 5 minutes. That's our offense. That's been the game so far. Taken away by the Fighting Saints. Pushed ahead into a sea of black shirts. Knocked away. Back towards the Fighting Saint. There's a shot that goes high. Well high and through the football goal posts. Out of bounds on that attempt from Alexis Mariquin, who scored the first goal of the game for the Fighting Saints. It was Mariquin in the 24th minute. And then in the 25th minute, Saints were able to strike again. That time it was Litzy Corona scoring her 3rd goal. Allison Shar scored the 3rd one of the day for the Fighting Saints, and that was her 2nd this year. So no first-time goal scorers yet in this game, but a very healthy lead for the Fighting Saints with under 15 minutes to play before halftime. There's another shot, and this one is high and over the net out of bounds. Seen a lot of that here in the first half. Sometimes you see that 3 on the scoreboard, you assume you can do anything, and you get a little overconfident. I don't want to get too confident in the way that the game is played. Keep pouring those goals on. I guess confidence is not a problem. Complacency is the word you don't want to worry about. Sent in by IUSB, nearly taken away, but Villa is there. And Villa kicks it out of bounds. That one went all the way out the back line, never quite curled along to the sideline. So a goal kick here for the Fighting Saints, and they go short with it. Here's from long range, an easy play by Yadira Estrada. Here come the Fighting Saints. Long individual run there by Mendez. Mendez passes it off to the right. There's a turn, a shot, and just a little bit high. Good opportunity there for Litzy Corona, who scored a goal a little bit earlier today, about 7 minutes ago in game time. She just curled it over the crossbar this time. Close one. St. Francis intercepts the goal kick. Here they go. Taylor harassed by Million. Good defense by Million. Passed back. St. Francis still in possession. Another shot. Another chance for Litzy Corona. And again, it sails high. This one was not particularly close. It was well high and over. Two subs coming on for St. Francis. Haley Bartlega is coming in. And look like Anna Jakubiak who came in. So that's who's on the field right now for the Fighting Saints with 11.5 minutes to play in the half. Here's Estrada. Estrada runs all the way back towards the far side of the goalkeeper's box. She pushes it off to the side that she apparently feels more comfortable with on the right. Here's Mendez. Back to the defense. This is Giallo. Giallo pushes ahead to Allison Shar. Shar, good ball. Going forward. This is Mariquin with the cross. It gets through both offensive and defensive player there and ends up on the far side. That's where Indiana South Bend is able to take over once again and start to make their move going from left to right. A little too high on the pass to Villa, taken away by the Fighting Saints. Giallo ahead to Hernandez. Claudia Hernandez rolls it forward to Shar. Allison Shar tackled off the ball, gets it right back. Coming in from the back line, this is Jakubiak. Jakubiak to Shar, deflected by Million and cleared by South Bend, but only for a moment. Saints are back in possession here with under 10 minutes to play in the first half. They're taking their time here, no reason to hurry. Down the far sideline towards that end line, and it does roll over the end line, out of bounds. Goal kick coming up for Indiana South Bend as the Fighting Saints make a couple more substitutions. Alexa Valencia Corona is in, as is Sandy Garcia. 25 shots to 1 so far in favor of the Fighting Saints. Some of those shots have been close calls. We could be looking at 4 or 5 to nothing right now if the goal was just a few inches bigger. Even the Saints freshmen off the bench are doing a good job of controlling the tempo here as they come into the game late, or the first half late, I should say. Knocked out of bounds along the sideline. A throw-in coming here for the Fighting Saints. Middle of the field, it's Hernandez. Hernandez gets through 2 defenders and now pushes the ball ahead to Mendez. Mendez is tackled off of it by those same black-shirted defenders. Free kick for Indiana South Bend. They work their way down quickly, where it's intercepted by St. Francis. That was all too quick for them. To the right side, deflected back towards the midfield circle. Hernandez. Hernandez moves her way to her left. Hernandez tries to get in for Corona. A lot of defenders in the way, and Corona lets it go out of bounds. Looked like she wanted a shot there, but again, just too many defenders standing in the way. And so she hesitated, and once she hesitated, she had lost the ball. Kick is away, headed right back to Paul. Paul plays it on a high hop. That ball hopped high enough that it nearly went in over the head of Caitlin Paul, but she's tall enough. Saints in possession again. Down the far side, there's the cross, there's the shot, and it's high once again. That net were about 2 feet taller. We'd be looking at 6 or 7-0 right now. Instead, it's the same dimensions it's always been. Saints have just pushed it over the net a couple of times. Midfield, Saints ball again. Giallo taps it off to nobody. And gets it right back, finally. There's a ball into the middle of the field. Knocked away by the Titans. Indiana South Bend can mount an attack here. They've got plenty of time to do it, but they have not yet shown the ability to do so in this game. There's another long-range ball down into the back end of the box, and nobody there. We've got a goal kick coming. Just over 5 minutes to play in the first half. It's been all St. Francis this half. Facing a team that has not scored in any of their last 3 games coming in. They had been outscored 25-0, so an average of 8-0 per game. Today it's 3-0. We're not yet through the first half. In the midfield circle, the Saints go back and forth with it. Now to the outside, Marroquin. Marroquin dribbles once, passes it back. Now she's going one-on-one against Millian. There's a pass from Marroquin, deflected, stolen, and taken out of bounds. Tossed in briefly. Millian clears it. Along the sideline, out of bounds. St. Francis ball. St. Francis is trying to get one more on the board before halftime. It's Marroquin. Marroquin's got one of the 3 goals already today. Taken away from her. Far sideline. Here come the Saints once again. There's a ball in front of the net, a tip, and nearly through the hands of Caitlin Paul. She was able to hang on, though, as Litzy Mendez came within inches of making it 4-0. Good effort by the Saints. An even better one by the IUSB goalie. Playing it off the one hop, that one high hop. Not easy. Chip down the near sideline. Piotrowski is there. Piotrowski sends it back to the goalkeeper. Under 3 minutes to go in the half. Titans from the midfield circle. It's Villa. Her ball is chased down by Estrada. Estrada works her way back to her right. This is where she generally has tended to prefer setting the ball up, either on goal kicks or even when she just has the ball in her hand. She likes to go in that direction. That's the direction she goes right now, nearing midfield. Here come the Titans. Good ball going through towards the box. Estrada steps up and boots it downfield. Nice job for Estrada. Didn't even give them a chance to get a shot off. She continues to go saveless. Well, she does have one save, one shot on goal for IUSB today, but that's all. They only have 2 shots total. Saints are nearing 30 here. Down to the corner. Passed back out to the sideline. Sent to Hernandez in front of the net. Hernandez takes a shot. And it sails wide and high to the right. So that's the 29th shot of the game for the Fighting Saints. 29-2. That is the shot disparity right now as the Fighting Saints try to get their conference season off to a strong start. For Indiana South Bend, this is the second conference game, and so far in the two, they've been outscored 20-0. Even if they don't win this game, they would love, for morale purposes, just to get on the scoreboard at least once. Saints are across midfield, maybe their last opportunity here to get another good shot off as the clock continues to run down here in the first half. They look to extend their lead to 4-0. Last chance from the attacking third here. Tossed down into the corner. Here's a ball that's cleared for the moment. And cleared again. Back from midfield. Let's see if the Saints have one more run in them. Just 17 seconds to go on the far side. Ball dribbled down to the back line and sent into the side of the net. And that's how the first half is going to end. It's a goal kick here for Indiana South Bend, but they don't need to take it. Doesn't look like they're going to take it. They will call it a half, as will we. 3-0. St. Francis leads Indiana University South Bend after 45 minutes of play, and that is a dominant score, but it's really not even as reflective as it could be to show how dominant this performance has been for St. Francis. They only have the 3-goal lead, but they've outshot Indiana South Bend by 27. They've had the ball in their possession for seemingly about 80-90% of that first half. Really a great first half for the Fighting Saints, and even though they didn't score quite as much as they would like to, 3-0 is nothing to sneeze at. So they will carry that lead into the intermission. We'll be back in 15 minutes. We'll have second half action for you, and St. Francis will try to pick up their fourth consecutive shutout win to open this year. 3-0 at the half here on the USF Sports Network.
St. Francis really has made a very positive impact on my life. I've made some of my best friends here, grown as a person, and I feel it has given me the tools to have a successful career.
USF has a very warm and welcoming atmosphere, and it was something I couldn't get at any other school that I visited.
It just felt like I was at home as soon as I stepped on campus.
Being located in Joliet, it's kind of like a hidden gem. It's not too far from home, but it's far enough where you can get that kind of getaway college experience that people want. It's a good little college community.
The thing I love most about University of St. Francis is the staff. They're always there for you day or night. You're not just another statistic to them. You're important to them. They know your name, and their one goal is to see you walk across that stage and to have a successful life.
The love and support that you get from these professors is beyond just in the classroom, and that endless support from them is exactly what I need to become the person that I want to be.
USF does a lot for their students to ensure that they have the best education possible. That means hands-on experiences, state-of-the-art technology, internships, or on-campus jobs. They want to make sure that you are prepared for whatever you want to do in your life.
Having that hands-on experience that St. Francis provides, I am able to feel confident, and I do feel confident that when I graduate, I will have learned what I needed to have a successful career. The professors in the university really do prepare their students for the real world.
Coming in my first year of St. Francis, we helped the community. That was the first thing that we did, and that opened up my eyes to what St. Francis was really about. They wanted to make me a better person, help me get my education, and help the community around me.
When I came here, I got my voice, I got my independence, I got that sense of I can make an impact.
USF education isn't just teaching you what you need to know about your field. It's teaching you what you need to know to make the world a better place.
I think one of the biggest things that I will take away from here once I graduate is that I will always have a home here. The university as a whole welcomes their alumni. They say that once you're a Saint, you're always a Saint.
Mr. Terry.
Thank you.
crazy thing, like the year before, you're like, man, this is weird not having it. And
Yeah.
the following year, you're like, earlier than ever, you want it to be over.
Yeah.
We're never happy, are we?
No, never. It was a lot. I mean, I don't know what it's like to have a good team. Maybe if we were good one.
Yeah, our team
We'd be
was
better.
terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a little bit better at the end, but
Mhm.
I mean, there were some days where it's like 7-0 after the second inning,
Yeah.
and you're like, Jesus.
We got to a point in August where we were only 3 out of first, but that's because Schaumburg kept losing every game. It really had
Right.
nothing to do with us.
Yeah, our whole division was pretty bad.
Yeah. And we were
Florence was good.
Florence was good, and Evansville was good.
Yeah, I only saw them. We saw them early in the year.
Oh.
I don't like their manager.
Yeah. He's an acquired taste. I had some run-ins with him.
Yeah, you know, he's just. After one game, you know where the visiting team dugout is. All right, and I do this for both teams. If the door is shut, I just slide the stats underneath. I don't think because I don't know what the hell's going on. You
Yeah.
know, are they releasing a player? Are they
Yeah.
drinking beer, smoking marijuana? I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was the first day or the second day of a 3-game series. The assistant coach comes out and he said, you know, what did you rule such and such a play? And I told him, you know, I gave my explanation. And then, and this was like where that computer is, you know, down the line and stuff. And you know that he couldn't hear me when I was down there unless he was on the inside of the doorway listening. He comes storming out. This is bullshit. He called me a douchebag and a cocksucker. And I'm like, you know, and then he's like, in the last series you were terrible too. And I said, what are you talking about? You know, if you bring stuff up and stuff, you know what I mean? Well, you run out of here. Okay, well, first of all, I got dress pants and dress clothes on, and I got my, you know, attaché case. I ain't running from you.
Yeah.
You know, and he's just going off and on. And, you know, I'm just ignoring it. You know, I'm not going to get into a confrontation.
He's probably the worst in the league, I think, with
When it
official
and
scoring.
it's usually around pitchers' earned run. You know. So I was glad, like, that we didn't have really any plays that series because I really didn't want to deal with him. And then other days, he's like the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I've got a good relationship with him, and I always take the box scores down, but I'm not the official scorer. I take the box scores down, and I'll be like, Terry, are you the official scorer? I'll say no. He says, well, talk to him. He's got all these problems. I'm like, all right, I can pass the message along.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's always. But I mean, the fact that I have a good relationship with him, I think he's like more polite about it. But he's, I mean, not too polite.
Well, you know, because you're not the official scorer.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, some days, you know, like next year, if it's the second game of the series and there haven't been any calls, hey Dave, how's things going? You know, it's good off season.
Yeah.
And it's like, and
weird.
then I'm a cocksucker the next day.
He's a baseball guy. It's halftime here in Joliet, but not for very long. We're about set to start the second half of play between the University of St. Francis and Indiana University South Bend. Terry Bonadonna with you on the call today, and at the 45-minute mark of this game, it has been all St. Francis. 3-0 is the score, and that is a pretty good score in favor of the home team, but as I said going into the break, really it's not even indicative of how well this game has been played. and how one-sided it has been in St. Francis's favor so far. We'll see if they can distance themselves early on here in the second half as they begin in possession of the ball. Now going from left to right. Litzy Mendez is in control of it. Mendez works her way into the box quickly. Mendez put out in front of the net and knocked away by Indiana University South Bend. So it's pushed towards the sideline, and St. Francis will start this attack over again. Good stop initially by the Titans. Here's a ball into the box and cleared once again. Knocked down the field by the Titans towards the sideline and out of bounds. Another throw-in coming up here for the Fighting Saints. It's Haley Bartlaga who tosses it in. Bartlaga came in late in the first half, and she's still out there. That's Sandy Garcia, who also came in late in the first half and remains in. And if the Saints are able to pull away in this game, continuing to play the way that they did in the first half, we may see a lot of their subs here in the second, although this attack is stalled as they lose the ball out the back line for a goal kick. So I mentioned the 3-0 score doesn't tell the whole story. How about this? Shots on goal for St. Francis. They had 13 of them. For Indiana South Bend, 1 in the first half. So Yadira Estrada, wearing the orange shirt, back on the left side now as that ball is sent in towards the net high and out of bounds. She hasn't been involved too much, Estrada that is. Just 1 save so far in the game. Obviously she's done her job capably. She's done everything she's been asked to do, but hasn't been asked to do a whole lot. Meanwhile, Caitlin Paul has had a whale of a game in net for IUSB. She's got 10 saves already today. So the Saints intercept that goal kick. This is Bartlaga out to Garcia. Anna Jakubiak off to the left side. Now stretching towards the middle. A ball sent in towards Allison Shar is knocked away and cleared by IUSB. This is Villa, Mo Villa. Passes it off to her left. And the run from Faith Quintana is stalled. Here come the Saints once again. Hernandez, Claudia Hernandez in the box and knocked back off the foot of Caitlin Paul, the goalkeeper. Paul had 10 saves in the first half. Yes, she did let 3 goals in as well, but when you see 13 shots and a half, being down 3-0 is not so bad. In that first half, St. Francis, 30 shots total. That's an incredible amount for one half. Indiana South Bend had 2. 30-2 in terms of shots, and that number has only increased as the Saints have had the first few opportunities here in the second half as well. St. Francis has put the ball down to the corner. There's a cross in front of the net, knocked away by the Titans. But on the backside, this is Bartlaga. She takes a shot, and it sails wide to the right. So that shot is number 32 of the game for St. Francis. We are 3.5 minutes into the second half. And the dominance has continued for the Fighting Saints, although with much the same results as we saw in the first half, which is to say a lot of pressure and not a lot in terms of the score. A lot of smoke, but not much fire so far, and that's okay. The Saints have the big lead already. Bartlaga down in the corner, passes it back. Now here's a ball in front of the net, headed once and ricocheting off of Caitlin Paul. Paul is able to fall on top of it. Nice work by Paul in the scrum. With black and white shirt, she's able to fall on top of that one and keep the Fighting Saints out of goal. They have not yet scored here in the second half. In fact, for all of their offensive pressure, all of their goals came in a very quick stretch. Here's a chance for Allison Shar. Shar turns it towards the net, takes a shot, and just misses a little bit wide to the right. Goes out for a goal kick. Another golden opportunity for St. Francis. This one comes up a little bit short. All 3 of their goals were scored in the span of 2 minutes and 51 seconds. In the first half, a 24th minute goal for Alexis Mariquin was her first goal of the season, or third goal rather of the season. It was assisted by Claudia Hernandez as that shot sails over the net, hits off the football crossbar, and rolls well out of play for another goal kick. For Claudia Hernandez, that assist on the Alexis Mariquin goal was her first of the season, but she would pick up a second in just a couple of minutes. It wasn't on the next goal. So that Alexis Mariquin goal was scored in the 24th minute. Then in the 25th minute, just 29 seconds later, Litzy Corona scored for the third time this season, tying Mariquin up for the top goal-scoring spot on this St. Francis roster. Made it 2-0, and then just 2 minutes and 21 seconds after that, Allison Schar scored her second goal of the season, and this one also was assisted by Claudia Hernandez, her second assist of the night and of the season. In front of the net, cleared by IUSB. Another chance potentially for the Saints, and that's knocked away. From long range this time, Caitlin Paul deflects that one off towards the back line and out of bounds off the attempt from Claudia Hernandez. Paul is able to parry it towards the back line for a corner kick. "15 players have been used so far in this match by St. Francis. This one comes straight into the side of the net. So not much going on that corner kick. Saints come up empty, but the ball has not really gone beyond midfield yet in this second half. We're over 6 minutes into it. And I don't think, maybe missing something, but I don't think that Indiana South Bend has taken a single kick in offensive territory in this second half yet. They've had the ball over there very briefly. For starters, right at the beginning of the half, that ball is sent in front of the net. A chance for the Saints is stifled. Nice defense by Marissa Millian. Out of bounds along the far sideline, back towards the corner. Throw in here for IUSB. Again, the Titans have had the ball over there very briefly, but I don't think they've actually had a controlled kick across midfield yet in this second half. The whistle blows here. What's the call? Well, it goes against Indiana South Bend, so looks like we got a free kick from just outside the box for St. Francis. Foul called against the Titans. The Saints from about 15 yards out to the left of goal. Push back to Salgado. Natalie Salgado's shot goes wide and over the net. Out of bounds for a goal kick. Keep in mind the wind is blowing now at St. Francis's back. We saw a pretty stiff breeze throughout the first half, and it was blowing against the Fighting Saints. So the fact that they were able to hold on to possession so dominantly, even with the wind blowing against them, was pretty impressive. There's a turn and a shot that is saved by Caitlin Paul. Schar got some good power behind that one, but it was a missile right at Paul's chest, and she was able to control it pretty simply. Here comes Mendez. Mendez ahead to Schar. Schar in a sea of black shirts, 3 defenders around her. Touches it once and out of bounds for another goal kick. You would think it would be the benefit to the Fighting Saints to have the wind at their back here in the second half. So far it has been. No goals scored in the first 9 minutes of this half, but if you thought they controlled possession in the first half, it has been doubly so here in the second. And the camera has scarcely moved from its current position. This is where we've been throughout this half, as that ball sent by America Esparza into the middle of the field and intercepted by St. Francis. Here's Litzy Mendez. Mendez takes a shot with the right foot, deflected out of bounds by Caitlin Paul. So Paul makes yet another save here. But this one she's not able to command, and she touches it out of bounds. It's another corner kick for the Fighting Saints. Saints haven't been able to do a lot with their corner kicks so far. We'll see if that changes right here. Here's the ball over the net, and it curls all the way around out of bounds. One stat from the first half I didn't read before, but 3 corner kicks in the first half for St. Francis. Indiana South Bend didn't have any. And that adds to what has been kind of an amazing stat for the Saints this year. Their opponents have not had a corner kick in the first half this year. This is 4 games in now. So we're talking about 3 full hours of soccer. Good ball work, a shot, and it's deflected by Caitlin Paul and into the net. 4-0, St. Francis extends their lead. Paul was able to get on top of that one, but she could not control it as it hits off of her hands and into the net. I believe that was Salgado who took that shot and scored the goal, and if I've got that correct, that's her second goal of the season. 34-21 to play. 34-21 to play in the second half. It's 4-0 now, St. Francis, and finally Yadira Estrada is able to wake up and kick the ball. It's deflected back by IUSB. They nearly had a chance on an open net there. First time this half, more than 10 minutes in, they finally had a controlled kick in the attacking third of the field. Quickly cleared by St. Francis. IUSB gets it back on the defensive end, but Mendez takes it away. Now here comes Mendez streaking down the left side of the field. Mendez blows by a couple of defenders, gets inside the box, and now finally is halted. She has to slow things down and send it to the outside. There's a ball in front of the net and scooped up on the catch by Caitlin Paul. Paul, the sophomore goalkeeper out of Penn High School in Indiana. All but one of the Indiana South Bend roster is from Indiana. Paul is the only goalkeeper on this roster. She's the only goalkeeper listed on the roster, but Gracie Kavanaugh has played in net a little bit this season. She appeared in 1 game. And it didn't go well for her. She allowed 7 goals in 31 minutes, although she saw 12 shots, which is pretty ridiculous in 31 minutes of play. I don't care who you're playing or what the situation is. It's incredible. That's about how much time we have left in this game. Let's see if the Saints have 12 shots on goal left in them. Offsides flag is up as Litzy Corona tries to chase that ball down into the corner. She peels off as it goes out of bounds. Offsides again, so it's an IUSB free kick here. But Paul is the only one on the roster listed as goalkeeper for IUSB, and she has been the busiest player all night for the Titans. Piotrowski pushes it ahead to Corona. This time Corona's on sides as she rolls it into the middle of the field. Here's Litzy Mendez. Off to the left. Mendez trailing from behind, staying involved in the play. Work to the far end in the corner. And once again, I think we've got offsides. So the offside sets up another free kick deep in Indiana South Bend territory. 4-0, St. Francis leads. Just under 32 minutes to play in this one. St. Francis has dominated from the jump. Keep in mind, Indiana South Bend lost the last game they played 17-0. So for them already, this has been something of an improvement, but that's not saying a lot. This is a team that has struggled, obviously, so far this season. Bobby Barnes in his second year at the helm, trying to turn this program around. Stepping in is Hernandez. Hernandez works her way into the box. Now taps it back out to herself. There's a pass to Sandy Garcia. Garcia over to Corona. Corona's shot is wild. Misses by about 15 feet off to the left side. We'll get another goal kick here. Both head coaches in this match are in their second seasons. Bobby Barnes of IUSB, Al Pilar of St. Francis, and Al Pilar so far doing a superb job of getting his team ready for this year. Keep in mind that this has been a weird season in that there really wasn't much of an off season. Typically, Soccer, as it is this year, is a fall sport at the collegiate level. Corona passes it back into the middle. Here's Claudia Hernandez, can't control it. Knocked away by IUSB and cleared for the moment. Bartlaga was trying to get it back. She does get it back. Roll ahead for Corona, and Corona loses it out of bounds. Well defended there by Marissa Millian. Lauren Pekulski is back in for St. Francis as Grace Giallo heads out. Just under a half hour to play. Giallo very rarely gets a rest, one of the stalwart defenders for St. Francis, but with the score as it is, Al Pilar is toying with his bench a little bit more. Although Lauren Pekulski, not exactly part of the bench. She did start the game, and typically does. There's a ball in front of the net, tapped away by Gracie Kavanaugh, and cleared. Alyssa Macias muscled off the ball. Who's going to win this battle? Macias still in control of it. Nice job by Macias. She does win that battle for possession. Ultimately, the ball is knocked out of bounds, but that was last touched by St. Francis. Saints once again into the box. Sent to the back post, and the Titans just watched that ball drift out of bounds. Mary-Kate Hynek comes in for the Fighting Saints. First time we've seen her today. Mary-Kate Hynek has played one other game this season. Took 4 shots in that game, but has not scored yet. She's on for the second time this season. 4-0. A dominant lead right now for St. Francis, who scored 3 goals in the span of about 5 minutes in the first half. And they've added to their lead here in the second half. This is Litzy Mendez trying to control the possession. Mendez rolls it off towards the sideline, and St. Francis is in control. Pushed ahead. And knocked away by the Titans. A whistle blows and a foul called against the Fighting Saints. Again, last season, because the fall schedule was all delayed, it became a spring sport, soccer. So these teams played as late as April, and then right back at it this year in August. So a very different sort of off-season. Certainly, I would think makes recruiting a little bit tougher, or at least certainly a lot different than it normally would be. But there's a lot of new players on this St. Francis team. A lot of the same players have come back as well. Everybody was given an extra year of eligibility. A couple of players took advantage of that as Bartlaga puts a nice ball through to Corona between 2 defenders, but it's taken away from Corona. Well defended and cleared by IUSB. Pokes it ahead towards the midfield circle. Sent up into the air and knocked back towards Yadira Estrada, who steps out of the box and gives it a big kick back across midfield. Corona off to the left. Saints looking to add. It's Corona again. Or rather, Mendez this time. Let's see, Mendez gets it to Corona in the middle. Corona turns and takes a shot and couldn't control it. Took a high hop in front of her foot. Was not able to get a controlled shot off, and she poked it well over the net out of bounds. St. Francis struggled for the most part in Al Pilar's first year as Villa is called for a little push in the back. Foul called on IUSB. This year they have done anything but struggle. This is officially their 4th game. 3 weeks ago, their season started with a game that was rained out or lightninged out, whatever you want to call it. Piotrowski comes in for the free kick and right into a defender. Cleared by IUSB. So they played about 23 minutes of what would have been their first game of the season. And in those 23 minutes, neither team scored. So even if we could have said it's an official game, it would neither have been a win nor a loss. Paul is able to field that shot that came in from about 25 yards out to the left side. Paul's right where she needed to be on that play. Here come the Titans. Cross midfield, deflected by Piotrowski. In the midfield circle, tapped back to Pekulski. Here's Bartlaga. Bartlaga down the sideline. Untouched so far. Takes it all the way down into the corner, now looking for the cross. There it is, nobody on the back end. Put in front of the net, Corona. Corona gets another shot, and again, Corona puts it over. Corona just needs to work on putting those ground balls in off the foot. She has had a lot of shots tonight, and the vast majority of them have ended up sailing over the net. Litzy Corona has not scored yet today, but she has taken 14 shots. 14 shots for one player, 4 of them on goal. There's another shot. That one was not Corona, but Salgado, who did score a goal earlier today. Salgado's second goal of the season. Goals today have come from Mariquin, Shar, Salgado, and Corona did score one. I think I may have just said she didn't score one, but 14 shots, 1 goal. Feels like she should have 6 or 7 by now. She's been that active in today's game. Corona entered play today with a team leading 18 shots taken. So that's a big number through 3 games, but she's averaging about 6 a game, or averaging exactly 6 a game coming in. She may double that total by the time today is done all by itself. Corner kick coming up here for the Fighting Saints. Already a big lead for the home side. This time they go deep along the sideline. There's a ball into the box. A header by Piotrowski and in. Kelly Piotrowski scores the 5th goal of the game for St. Francis. So off the corner kick, Fighting Saints are able to put in another one. That was their 5th corner kick of the game. And the first one that nets them a goal. It did not come directly off the corner kick. They decided to play a pass along the sideline instead of going immediately towards the net. But off the cross, Piotrowski's able to head it in for her first goal this season. Piotrowski used primarily as a defender now. She was a forward earlier in her career, now in her 5th season at the University of St. Francis. She's one of those players who took advantage of the extra year of eligibility. And the last 2 years really has primarily been a defender. She steps up from the defense here, kicks it down along the far side. There's Mary-Kate Hynek passing it off to the left side, Salgado. Along the back line, it's poked away, out of bounds. Another corner kick coming up here. Piotrowski has settled into that defensive role and obviously still a threat to score if the Saints need her, and especially on these corner kicks. Everybody's in play. Another corner kick right here to the back post, and it sails over out of bounds once again. So lately it seems like every time that they've gone in that direction towards the net, it's gone straight out of bounds. The previous corner kick, they decided to play it differently, turned it into a goal. It's 5-0. St. Francis has the lead. Still a long way from their season high in goals scored. They put up a 9 spot against Cleary of Michigan, in Michigan, back on August 28th, about 2.5 weeks ago now. Mentioned before, IUSB's worst game of the season, their most recent game played. They gave up 17 goals, so this is a long way from that as well. It's a long way from their worst. It's a long way from St. Francis's best, but so far feels pretty good for the Fighting Saints. Here's Mariquin. Mariquin steps in and now pulls back. Goes back to the defensive line. Saints take their time setting up this attack. Down along the sideline. That ball sent into Claudia Hernandez. Hernandez works her way around a defender, takes a shot, and a save by Caitlin Paul. 17th save of the game for Caitlin Paul, who's got 7 of them since halftime. 7 saves in just the last 25 minutes. But she's also given up 2 goals during that time. Good ball work along the defense, but they're not able to clear it. Now here comes St. Francis again. Mariquin taps it to her left. Hernandez takes a shot, and she scores. Just out of the reach of the diving Caitlin Paul. The Saints have doubled their halftime lead, and just like in the first half, they've scored these second half goals in a bunch. A couple of goals in just the last few minutes. 6-0. The Fighting Saints have built up a big lead here. Claudia Hernandez checks out. Allison Shar is back in after Hernandez scored the goal. Her first of the season. Hernandez came into play today with no points on the season, and she's got now 4 of them. 2 assists and a goal today, so she has had a hand in half of her team's goals. And this is the second time that St. Francis this season has put together a big blowout score. The other I just mentioned, August 28th against Cleary, a 9-0 win. Here's Corona. Corona works her way in amongst 4 defenders, and the 4 defenders win that battle, knocking it towards the sideline out of bounds. Lob back in. Corona heads it towards the net. Paul waves off everybody and lets it go out of bounds for a goal kick. When they scored 9, the big offensive star of the game was Litzy Mendez, who had 2 goals and 3 assists, and those are still her 7 points, 2 goals, 3 assists. She has not added to that since then. She hasn't really needed to. They haven't scored all that many. They scored 2 goals combined in the last 2 games. Both of them were shutout wins. But aside from that game against Cleary, coming into today, their offense had not shown any inclination to burst out. They have today against a struggling opponent. We're down to the final 19 minutes here, as that ball is sent a little bit too far for Shar. Cleared by IUSB. Off the side of her leg and nearly controlled anyway by the Titans. But Ariana Baca can't keep control of it. Saints take over once again. Mendez passes to the outside. Rolled in towards the corner. Now into the box. An attempt is deflected away. I believe that was Marisol Carmona. And there's the clearance. Back towards the midfield circle. Piotrowski, who scored the goal a few minutes ago, starts moving to the left. Now she moves back to her right. And Lauren Pogalski. Over to the sideline. This is Haley Bartlaga, the sophomore from Homer Glen. Transferred in from Moraine Valley. Made a nice move there to get around one defender. Rolled it between the legs of Mackenzie Blankenbaker. Now into the box. It's Mariquin who turns and shoots wide to the left. Was that deflected? Yeah, apparently was not, so we'll get a goal kick here. Saints bring on a couple of substitutes here. As Indiana South Bend brings in 1. America Esparza is back in for the Titans. For the Fighting Saints, it's Alexa Valencia Corona. No, let me take that back. Valeria Valles Garcia. Valeria Valles Garcia, the sophomore from Romeoville, is into the game for the Fighting Saints. First appearance this season for Valeria Valles Garcia. Here's Corona taking another shot on one hop, deflected by Paul, and she scoops it up. First appearance this season for Valeria Valles Garcia, and joining her in the game, freshman Adamari Carrera. And for Carrera, it is the second appearance of the season, and just the second appearance in her collegiate career. Here's Carrera getting the touch, her first of the game. pushes it ahead and somehow finds her intended target. Rolled it beyond the reach of a couple of defenders. Now down towards the corner, we've got a whistle and a foul called against St. Francis. 6-0, the Fighting Saints have the lead. They scored 3 goals in the first half in the span of 3.5 minutes. In fact, less than that even. So in the span of 3 minutes, they were able to do it. Here in the second half, 1 goal early, 2 more very recent. They're just playing out the last 16 minutes here. Trying not to do anything stupid. Into the box and picked up by Caitlin Paul, the unsung hero of this game, although I've kind of sung about her a lot. And on top of that, it's hard to call her a hero when she's allowed 6 goals, but she has been very active. She's been challenged quite a bit. And much more often than not, she's been up to that challenge. She's made nearly 20 saves in this game. The Saints put the ball in the box again. Knocked away towards the sideline. Saints are there to receive it. It's Haley Barlago working her way towards the back. She takes a shot, deflected by the defense, out of bounds along the back line. We're going to get another corner kick for St. Francis, this time from the near side. "15 minutes to play here. There's the corner kick to the back post and knocked away by IUSB. Cleared towards midfield. Adamari Carrera is there, passing it forward. And the Saints are interrupted at the edge of the box. Saints keep their attack moving forward. There's a ball sent in deep over the net and across the field to the back line. Will get a goal kick here for Indiana South Bend. St. Francis volleyball team won tonight in their home game over at the Sullivan Center. They took down Trinity Christian in straight sets, so they remain unbeaten in CCAC play. The soccer team here today trying to stay unbeaten as well, although this is their first game, so unbeaten today only by lack of opportunity, but after today they can claim to be legit unbeaten as that ball is sent over the net by Allison Shar. Nice attempt. And it snuck in between the soccer crossbar and the football crossbar. So just high by a foot or two. Shar bidding for her second goal of the game. It remains 6-0, but a dominant night here for St. Francis Sports. They try to keep it rolling here, looking for their 4th consecutive shutout to begin the season. Next one after today is going to be a little bit of a bigger challenge as the Saints pull it in from the far sideline. Back towards Carrera. Back at Piotrowski in the middle of the field. Conference play from here on out, it's just going to make things more and more difficult as Litzy Corona weaves her way around a couple of defenders. Passes off to Mendez. Mendez trying to get around a defender as well, but good defense from IUSB. Now ball deflected towards the far sideline. Saints are able to control it down in the corner. And the cross is intercepted and knocked out of bounds by Indiana South Bend. Marissa Million able to get her foot on that ball and then push it out of bounds. Emma Rosales is coming in. Freshman out of Lockport High School. She relieves Litzy Mendez, who's had a really nice game today, even though Mendez has not been one of the many Saints involved in the goal-scoring barrage. She has set up quite a few opportunities. She's been very aggressive on the offensive side. One of the key performers today for the Fighting Saints. IUSB knocks it into the stands, out of bounds. Rosales is getting her second action of the season. Appeared against Cleary back on August 28th, so her first home match of the season and of her her college career, coming out of Lockport High School. That one sent out of bounds. We've got a goal kick coming up here for Caitlin Paul and the Titans of Indiana South Bend. St. Francis outshot Indiana South Bend in the first half 30-2. Seemed like an amazing number going into the wind. And now with the wind at their backs in the second half, you wonder how can they outdo it. Well, they have so far. They haven't given up any shots to IUSB so far. In terms of the amount of possession time, I would guess that Indiana South Bend has had the ball in their control for less than a minute out of the first 34 in this half as Caitlin Paul receives that catch on one bounce. She punts it from the edge of the box. It drops at the edge of the circle. And off a deflection, won by IUSB. Across midfield, Piotrowski, who scored a goal off of a corner kick a little bit earlier tonight, comes in defensively and pushes it forward for the Fighting Saints. Here comes Valles Garcia out to Bartlaga in the corner. Haley Bartlaga passes it back to Lauren Pakulski. Pakulski takes a shot, deflected off the foot, I think, of her teammate, Allison Schar, and cleared by the Titans. Piotrowski pushes it towards the box. Knocked away. Here's Pakulski. Rolled off towards the sideline, Bartlaga. Haley Bartlaga, unchallenged, passes it off to Schar. Schar in the box. Good touch over to Valles Garcia. Valles Garcia right in front of the net, deflected away. Well defended by IUSB. The Saints get it right back. Here's Bartlaga down to the back line, deflected out by Million. And Marissa Million sets up another corner kick for the Fighting Saints of St. Francis, who clear their bench a little bit further. Looks like Alexa Valencia Corona is coming in. Grace Giallo is re-entering. Marisol Carmona comes on for Indiana University South Bend. Under 9 minutes to play in this game as the clock continues to run on these substitutions. Corner kick set up for St. Francis. Header, and that's in. Off the corner kick, the Saints get another one. Second time they have scored today off a corner kick, this one directly. There were a mess of white shirts down there. Didn't get a good look at who hit that one in, but it is 7-0 now, St. Francis. It's the second time they have scored off of a header following a corner kick. They got one earlier in this second half. And now they are within 2 goals of their season high. Seven to nothing, St. Francis. They have increased their season total now to 18. 18 to nothing. They have outscored their opposition thus far in the 2021 season. They should call it the fall 2021 season. They already played a spring season. Here's Schar. Allison Schar works her way forward. She takes a shot, and it's not wide by much, but it does miss off to the left. There's a header back into the box and knocked away. Thrown back into the corner of the box. And once again knocked up into the air by IUSB. It rolls back into the waiting hands of Caitlin Paul. Goals today for St. Francis. Alexis Mariquin got the first one. Litzy Corona and Allison Schar also scored in the first half. It was 3-0 at halftime. There's an interception by IUSB, deflected and taken back away by St. Francis. Fighting Saints on the attack, lose it out of bounds. And a throw in this time for the team in black. In the second half, Natalie Salgado scored her second of the season. Got the second half scoring started. So Alexa Valencia Corona knocking it in and popped up into the air into the waiting hands of Caitlin Paul. Kelly Piotrowski scored goal number 5. Alexis Mariquin got her second of the evening to make it 6-0, and the most recent one off of the corner kick scored by Alexa Valencia Corona. First goal of the season for the senior. Transferred in from Heartland Community College down in Normal. Out of bounds. Throw in here for IUSB with 6.5 minutes to play. Here comes Valencia Corona once again. Scored a goal off a corner kick a few minutes ago. Now she passes off to her right. Intercepted. Saints try to get it back. And they do. That's Emma Rosales passing back and setting up Allison Shar. Shar pushed ahead. Another chance here for Valles Garcia. Diving save by Paul, but on the deflection, the rebound is there. And I believe that's Valencia Corona again, making it 8-0 St. Francis. Good save by Caitlin Paul. Nice shot, first of all, by Valeria Valles Garcia. And a great save by Paul, but Valencia Corona was left unchecked. And off the rebound, she's able to put it in. So Alexa Valencia Corona, who prior to today had not even yet appeared in a game this season, gets her first action of the year. And immediately makes a difference. In just about 5 minutes out there, she's got 2 goals. Rebecca Guess checks out for Indiana South Bend. Guess has played an active role defensively throughout this game. She appears to be done for the rest of the evening. There's Corona who passes it ahead, gets it right back, and knocked away from her. Good challenge there. I believe that was America Esparza who took it away. Speaking of good challenges, there's Adamari Carrera. There's a pass in front of the net. Chance for Valles Garcia, and she nearly scored. But it's saved out of bounds that time by Caitlin Paul and tapped out for another corner kick. There have been a lot of these. This is the 9th corner kick of the game for St. Francis. Fighting Saints this season have taken 28 corner kicks. They've seen their opposition take only 2. Ball controlled by Mary-Kate Hynek. Passed back into the corner. There's the cross. Rosales comes in, heads it a little bit too high and out of bounds. Boy, Rosales was all alone, no black shirts around her. And that ball came targeting right for her head. And just couldn't time it up the way that she wanted to. A little bit high. And over the crossbar, out of bounds for a goal kick. Very close right there to making it 9-0. It remains 8-0 in favor of the Fighting Saints. Now just 4 minutes to play in this one. Lauren Pekalski rolls to her right. Passes ahead, deflected by Valles Garcia over to Shar. Shar takes a dribble off to the left side. Shar looks to take a shot with the left foot, and she scores. Now the Saints are just getting pretty much whatever they want. This IUSB defense seems worn out. And Allison Shar was able to free herself up off the dribble there and score with the left foot. Her second goal of the game. She's now got 3 this season. And the Saints have matched their highest goals total of the season with number 9. Puts them right back where they were on August 28th against Cleary when they won that game 9-0. And now they look to do the same thing again here today. They might not be done adding on. We've still got 3.5 minutes left here. They scored 3 goals over a 3-minute period earlier in the game. Not far off from that right now. They've scored 3 in the last 6 minutes. 6-0 in the second half alone. St. Francis has outscored Indiana South Bend. Grace Giallo chases that ball down. Giallo passes it out of the reach of Marisol Carmona. Here comes Corona. Litzy Corona takes a shot from long range, and Corona scores again. That's a hat trick for Litzy Corona. Excuse me, that's her second goal of the game. She is the third player, a hat trick of Saints, who have multiple goals. Alexis Mariquin has scored twice. Hey, let me take that back, actually, because Alexa Valencia Corona has scored twice as well, as has Allison Shar. So 4 different players have scored twice for the Fighting Saints today. It's 10-0 now. And like I said, a lot of time to add, as Allison Shar is called for the foul here. Even when they took that 9-goal lead with just over 3.5 minutes to play, there was still a lot of time to add more. This IUSB defense, which has played well all game, and it's hard to say that about a team that's down 10-0. But they've held their own for much of the night. They have forced bad shots. They seem to be completely out of energy. They have not been able to control possession at any point from the midfield, and they certainly have not been able to develop any sort of offensive attack. But defensively, they've held their own up until the last maybe 10 minutes or so, and they just seem out of gas completely. And so the Saints continue to add on. They have scored 4 goals in the last 8 minutes. And we'll see if they can get one more before this one is all said and done. 10-0 they lead. Second consecutive game for IUSB that they've allowed 10 goals. And Allison Shar was bidding for 11 there. But instead, Caitlin Paul makes the save. And for her, that is save number 22. It's a big number. The percentage might not be what she wants it to be. But boy, she has seen a lot of shots tonight. Saints are over 60 shots taken. And they might be building up another one here. Corona does take the shot, but it drifts out of bounds. And by the time this goal kick is taken by IUSB, we will be in the final minute of play for this CCAC opener for St. Francis. Couldn't have drawn it up a whole lot better for them. They came in at 3-0. They had not allowed a goal in non-conference play. But everything's a little bit different once you get into the conference season. And today the difference has been that they've been even better. It comes against a team that came in at 0-4 and a team that has really struggled in their own non-conference play. Still, anytime you beat a team 10-0, you're not going to complain about who you were playing against or any other factors. Corona is tripped up in the box. No whistle there, or is there? Nope, the play continues. Looked like everybody kind of stopped for a split second. But now we continue. The ball still in the box. St. Francis in control of it. Fighting Saints trying to get one more here, and they've got it. It's 11-0 with 13 seconds to play in this game. Litzy Corona scores her 3rd goal and makes it an 11-0 St. Francis lead in the final seconds of this match. It does appear that this will be the final score now, 11-0. As Indiana South Bend now just needs to get one touch really and let it run out. A near trip right there. A whistle is blown and a foul called on St. Francis, but IUSB will let it die where it lays. That's the game. The buzzer has sounded, and this one is in the books at 11-0. A dominant win for St. Francis, the second time this year that they have outscored an opponent by at least 9 goals. And this one even better than the 9-0 win against Cleary a couple of weeks ago. The final today, 11-0 in St. Francis's favor. And the Fighting Saints dominated this one from the opening whistle. They kept the pressure on this IUSB defense from the very first minute. The first half, they outshot IUSB 30-2. But a lot of those shots were challenged. A lot of them did not go on goal, and a lot of them were stopped by Caitlin Paul, the sophomore goalkeeper of Indiana South Bend. So for as much as they dominated the pace of the game, the lead at halftime was only 3-0. They really turned up the heat, though, in the second half, even as they brought in a number of the subs off the bench. They just kept pouring it on, both the number of shots and the number of shots that went in the net. And as they increased their lead as far as 6-0, with just 10 minutes to play, in fact, with just 9 minutes to play, they were up 6-0. It seemed like this game was well in hand. And that's when they really turned it up. They nearly doubled their lead in the last 9 minutes. 5 goals in the last 9 minutes of play here as they end up winning it by a final of 11-0. Let's take a quick look back at the scoring summary. Difficult to say, take a quick look back at 11 goals, but let's give it a try anyway. The first one was scored in the 24th minute, and even up until that point, the Saints were peppering the Titans with shots. They just hadn't gone in. Finally, in the 24th minute, they broke through. Alexis Mariquin scored her first of the day, assisted by Claudia Hernandez to make it 1-0. Then, just 29 seconds later, the Saints scored again. This time it was Litzy Corona unassisted to make it 2-0. They got their third goal about 2 minutes after that, so 3 goals in a 3-minute span. Allison Shar scored her first of the game. Second assist of the game for Claudia Hernandez made it 3-0 at halftime. In the second half, in the 56th minute, Natalie Salgado scored her second goal of the season. And then a couple of minutes after that, about 11 minutes after that, Salgado picked up an assist for Kelly Piotrowski off a corner kick. Piotrowski headed it in, and that made the score 5-0 in St. Francis's favor. And that's when it started to come rapid fire. Alexis Mariquin scored her second of the night, and that occurred in the 70th minute, assisted by Claudia Hernandez. Hernandez's third assist of the game made it 6-0. And in the last 10 minutes of the game, Alexa Valencia Corona off of a corner kick scored her first of the year to make it 7-0. 3 minutes after that, Alexa Valencia Corona scored her second of the game unassisted. 2 minutes after that, Allison Shar, her second of the game, made it 9-0. 1 minute after that, Litzy Corona scored her second of the game. That made it 10-0. And 2 minutes after that, it was Litzy Corona again, her third goal of the night. That made the final score 11-0. So that improves St. Francis's record to 4-0 for the season. The Saints have still not allowed a goal yet this year. They have outscored their opponents 22-0 overall this year. They are now 1-0 to start CCAC play. Indiana South Bend drops their record to 0-5 this year. This was their second conference game, so they are 0-2 on the year. And for as dominant as St. Francis has been with their 22-0 score overall against their opponents, Indiana South Bend has been just the opposite. They've been outscored this year now 41-2 in their 5 games. They've been outscored 28-0 in 2 conference games. They've got a lot of work to do. The Saints do as well, but they are starting from a more advanced position right now. Great start to the season for St. Francis. They'll try to keep it rolling. As we look once more at some of the final stats of this game, 64-2 total number of shots today. Shots on goal, 33-1 in favor of the Fighting Saints. Again, the Saints now 4-0 on the season. That'll do it for today's broadcast as the Saints once again win this one 11-0. Their first win of conference play this year. Until next time, this is Terry Bonadonna signing off for the University of St. Francis. Have a good night.